President Joe Biden is expected to speak after Russia freed WNBA star Brittney Griner. The swap was confirmed by U.S. officials with direct knowledge of the negotiations. Now, in exchange, the U.S. is releasing notorious Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout. Sources tell CBS News the high-stakes swap happened today at a neutral location located at the United Arab Emirates.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the U.S. swapping a convicted terrorist from Russia by the name of Viktor Bout for WNBA basketball player Brittney Griner in the one-to-one exchange. Now, it was supposed to be we'll give up the terrorist for Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan. Now, Paul Whelan is an American who is still over in Russia, locked up after he was suspected of being a spy. I'm not sure how long he's been there, 2 years, a year and some change. I don't really know. But that was supposed to be the trade, a 2-for-1. Paul Whelan and Brittney Griner for Viktor Bout. But that didn't happen. And I'm not really surprised. Let's back up a little bit here. So Brittney Griner got locked up earlier this year for trying to bring in hash oil and vape cartridges with, I guess, weed in it to the Russian airport. Now, she was over in Russia playing basketball because a lot of the WNBA basketball players, they go overseas in the offseason because they're not really getting paid too much here. People aren't really going to see the games. So they got to go Middle East, Russia, Asia, Europe. They got to go other places to make money when they can't make it over here. That's just kind of what it is. So she was over there, get ready to play basketball, brought some weeds with her, and she got caught at the airport and detained as a result. Now, some are trying to say, oh, she's a political prisoner because right when she got arrested, right when she got detained was when Russia invaded Ukraine. It was like 2 days before. So the timing was really bad. But I don't think she was arrested because of some political stuff. I mean, a basketball player, really? I think that she broke the law and got arrested as a result. Then I think Russia realized, hey, we have something here. Because the U.S. wanted to get her back really badly. There was a interest to get her back. And they initially said, or it might have leaked, that they would give up Brittney Griner for Viktor Bout. So Russia's like, okay, cool. Now, mind you, this is going on during the process of trying Griner, finding her guilty, sending her to the penitentiary or whatever. So I knew from the beginning that they weren't going to let her go. Why would you let Brittney Griner go if they already put out there that they're willing to give up a terrorist, like a arms dealer, this guy, Viktor Bout, the merchant of death? Matter of fact, let's get into a video so you can kind of see what kind of guy this is, because they already caught him. The DEA caught him back in 2010. So he was like at one point the most wanted man in the whole world. Let's check it out right here.
Viktor Bout, in my eyes, is one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
On the face of the earth.
Without a doubt.
Mike Braun,
one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth. You trade that man for a basketball player. Nothing against Brittney Griner. Personally, I don't know Brittney Griner. I've met her before in my life. But, I mean, come on. Like, at a certain point, when you're talking about prisoners and you want to do a prisoner exchange, you might want to go high level for high level, not high level terrorist, dangerous person for basketball player, not a criminal, just somebody that was smoking weed. That's not the same level of danger. I don't think Brittney Griner will ever be referred to as the most dangerous woman on planet Earth, ever.
the former chief of operations for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, told us Bout first exploded on the scene in war-torn West Africa in the late 1980s. Elevating bloody conflicts from machetes and single-shot rifles to
AK-47s, not by the thousands, but by the tens of thousands.
So he weaponizes civil war in Africa.
He transformed these young adolescent warriors into insidious, mindless, maniacally driven killing machines that operated with assembly line efficiencies.
Now 43, Bout from the Soviet Republic of Tajikistan is a mystery man who reportedly served in the Soviet Air Force and intelligence service. The U.S. has indicted him on 4 terror-related charges, including conspiracy to kill Americans.
What makes him a threat to the United States?
He is a shadow facilitator. He's arming not only designated terrorist groups, insurgent groups, but he's also arming very powerful drug trafficking cartels around the globe.
Taking advantage of Russian military contacts at the highest levels and the collapse of the Soviet Union, federal prosecutors allege Bout essentially became a one-stop shop, offering an unlimited supply of stockpiled Cold War weapons to bad guys around the world, including Charles Taylor of Liberia,
Oh my God,
who's now on trial for war crimes.
So this is a really bad person. I mean, let's just put it that way. You're trading a guy that is involved in African Civil War, arming probably both sides of it. You're trading that guy for a basketball player. I mean, come on, like, what are we talking about here? If you want to see that full video, and there's also like an article from 60 Minutes, I'll link to this in the description. But there's more. I just want to play Biden's statement about Brittney Griner. Then we can keep on moving.
Moments ago, standing together with her wife Sherelle in the Oval Office, I spoke with Brittney Griner. She's safe. She's on a plane. She's on her way home. After months of being unjustly detained in Russia, held under intolerable circumstances, Brittney will soon be back in the arms of her loved ones, and she should have been there all along. This is a day we've worked toward for a long time. We never stopped pushing for her release. It took painstaking and intense negotiations, and I want to thank all the hard work.
It wasn't really that deep, because from the beginning, I'm not sure if you guys put it out there or if it was leaked, but from the beginning, y'all said, or somebody said, that you'd be willing to trade Brittney Griner for Victor Bout. And that's what happened. And I knew that she would not get released until he was released. I knew that from the beginning. So we're talking about painstaking negotiations. Maybe you were trying to get the other guy, Paul Whelan, the alleged spy that's an American citizen who's still locked up in Russia. Maybe you were trying to get him. But as far as Brittney Griner, who was like the face of it, Paul Whelan was the secondary thing. You wanted to get him just, okay, let's throw him in there too. Throw him as part of the deal so it don't look so bad. We're trading one for one, a basketball player for a terrorist. Okay. The whole thing was about Brittney Griner for that guy, and that's what happened. And it wasn't going to be anything else other than that.
Working public
If you got Paul Whelan, you're going to be lucky.
servants across my administration who worked tirelessly to secure her release. I also want to thank the UAE for helping us facilitate Brittney's return, because that's where she landed. These past few months have been hell for Brittney and for Charlie and her entire family and all her teammates back home. People all across the country have learned about Brittney's story, advocated for her release, stood with her throughout this terrible ordeal.
Okay, so if you want to hear the rest of this particular press conference, I'll link to that in the box. It's much longer than the 2 minutes. It's like 7-8 minutes, something like that. There's a link right there. You can go ahead and check it out. Yeah, but you got your man Joe Biden standing up there in front of the podium, taking credit, of course. This might be something that he's going to put a feather in his cap for possible reelection, possible help for the Democrats coming up in 2023, 2024 for the rest of his term. It'd be an accomplishment. But ultimately, I think it was definitely a bad deal. Victor Bout, a very, 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 very bad person, a terrorist. And I'm sure Victor Bout's not by himself. I don't think that this guy, by himself, one person, can arm an entire nation of people in a civil war. I don't think so. There's much more to it. You might even have Americans involved. Who knows? But as I close, I'm going to say this. This is a poorly run administration, very poorly run. Trump was able to get people out of jail, penitentiary, whatever, that were locked up abroad without having to give up known international terrorists, known instigators of civil war. He didn't have to do that. ASAP Rocky was in Sweden. Then you had the guy, what was that? LiAngelo Ball, one of the Ball brothers in China. He was able to do certain things without going to such drastic measures. But when you don't really have a lot of leverage and negotiation power, and when you're not a very good negotiator, Anthony Blinken, when you're not very good, you pretty much get robbed. Okay, a good negotiator wouldn't have given up a terrorist for a basketball player. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about this deal, giving up Victor Bout for Brittney Griner? Was it a good deal, bad deal, nothing, kind of in between, kind of indifferent, whatever your thoughts are? Let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This was a terrible deal. I mean, good night. Like, imagine Joe Biden and the administration in the car dealership trying to get a deal. I mean, you're talking about 800% APR for a Toyota Camry. You be paying payments of $2,000 a month for a lease. Just ridiculous numbers because you're not a good negotiator at all. You take whatever they give you. They throw something out there, it leaks to the public. Now you got to adhere to it because Russia don't want to look like they are getting a short end of the stick. Okay. And they have no reason to give a Brittney Griner. Like, what? Why? You're already putting sanctions on me. You're already trying to suffocate me. You're already fighting me in the proxy war in Ukraine. I have nothing to lose. So this whole thing was a boondoggle. I think that if the people were different, meaning the administration, then this wouldn't have gone down quite this way. You might have even had Brittney Griner released upon her arrest, if not for the fact that you got this bad administration in office right now. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.